Hey guys, it's me. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome. If you're returning, I appreciate you as always. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I hit my goal of 1K if you haven't realized already. Thank you guys so much for sharing, reposting, anything like that, watching my videos. I appreciate you as always. Also, I wanted to mention that I do have links in the description box below that can get you money off your purchases at the Lip Bar and Clean Skin Club, so don't hesitate to use those. I am working on trying to figure out how to balance life. Adulting is hard. Between work and then working out and then practicing on the pole, since I mentioned in one of my past videos that was something that a hobby I took up last year. So practicing on the pole and then being creative with like reels on Instagram and things like that, and then having time for my friends and then recording YouTube. It is a lot. Like, I don't know how people do this, but I am trying the best I can. So sorry for not pumping out the videos the way I was in the beginning. I get stuck in these like creative ruts and I don't want to do anything, but I'm trying my best. I just wanted to show y'all my cup. Can y'all see what it says? Hold up, let me try to, you know what? Either way, it says the N-word, don't deserve Sharita, because that's a fact. And not men don't deserve me, like good men deserve me, but the others, they don't. Anyways, I just wanted to show y'all that because my friend Trey made it for me and I love it so much, and anytime I'm drinking tea, it's a nice little reminder. Today's video isn't, I guess it's kind of a personal story, but not like a full-blown story, just things that I've learned as time has passed. So last year I started therapy and I did take a break from it because that copay is adding up, and it sucks because like my insurance doesn't fully cover it. But overall, it was a great experience and I do plan on going back. Just having someone to talk to that's like non-biased, who doesn't really know you, that can just give you, their opinion and help you work through things has been really helpful, especially because I'm not the type to really express myself. So going into that, I just wanted to share 5 things I learned in therapy about like relationships, whether it's friendships, romantic relationships, because friendships are just as important as romantic relationships. So I just wanted to share the things that I learned, and I hope that it helps you in any way, shape, or form. So the first thing I learned is that I am a people pleaser. I was not expecting her to say that because I just feel like I don't please everybody. Like, I do what I want when I want, and it is what it is. But she said, well, are you the type to go with the flow? And I was just like, yes, I am. She's like, well, that's people pleasing because you don't speak up. So you literally go with the flow and then you end up in all these situationships, and that's why you haven't been in like an actual relationship, because you're constantly just like, all right, well, the guy is doing this and the guy is doing that, so I'm gonna just go with the flow and see what his energy is. When specifically you want something out of this, you don't say anything. That's people pleasing. That's a form of it. I was unaware, but that is something that now it sticks in my brain anytime where I'm just like, oh, okay, yeah, it's whatever. No, speak up. Even with your friends, like you want to go out and they're just like, oh, you choose. And it's like, no, it's okay, you choose. Give an option. It's okay. It's hard sometimes. I feel like there's a thin line between indecisiveness and like people pleasing. So definitely I'm always walking that thin line, but something I'm working on. Speaking of people pleasing, when I mentioned about not speaking up for myself, that was another thing that we brought up. And she asked me, like, why don't you speak up for yourself? As blunt as I can be, when it comes to specifically romantic relationships, I don't really speak up about the things that I do want. Like, if I know I want to be in a relationship with someone, it's not something that I'll just flat out say. And in my mind, I'm always like, well, if a man know he want to be with me, he gonna say it, right? But it's just like, men sometimes be a little slow. But also I feel like a man legit, if like he wants to be with you, like he'll tell you. But also if you realize, okay, you're dating for some time now, it's okay to just ask, all right, what are we doing? Like, where is this going? And if you don't like that answer, then it's cool. You can literally be like, peace out, So that's another thing I learned. The third thing I learned is that I don't express my emotions. And I can't say I necessarily learned that, but when I say that, I realize it is so much from my childhood. My childhood has really affected everything. And I didn't realize how much it really did affect it until she started asking me questions like, did you ever see your mom or your dad cry in the house? And I was just like, when someone passed away. And even then, like, I can remember vividly, like, I don't want this to get sad or anything, but I can literally remember vividly, like, my grandmother passing away. We got the phone call. We probably all cried that night. That morning we got up. We were looking at funeral homes. We were looking at caskets. We were looking at an outfit for her to wear. You know, calling up the church and letting them know this is the day that we want to do the wake and the funeral. Like, literally everything was like, go. And in my house, especially with the women, because we don't have a lot of men, it's always like, you don't have time to feel your feelings. You gotta just do what you gotta do. Like, you could deal with that later. So I could literally say the day my grandmother passed, I saw my aunt to my mom cry, the day of the funeral cry, and then maybe they've cried personally in their own space, but I've never physically really seen it. And we've had family members pass away. Just like emotions in general just wasn't a thing that we expressed. It was just like, you don't have the time to feel these things. And I'm learning that I do have the time to feel them. It's okay to feel what I feel, as long as I don't dwell in it for too long, especially if it's a sad feeling. If it's a happy feeling, of course, I want to sit in that happy and that joy. But if it's not a happy feeling, like, don't dwell in it in too long, but definitely acknowledge the fact that I'm sad or I'm angry and what is making me sad and how can I fix that, or how can I, you know, just work through it. I also learned, number 4, is that hyper independence can be a trauma response. I don't know how to ask for help. I struggle with that. I don't expect people to do anything for me, especially in relationships. I have like this fear that, like, a man does something for me and he's gonna throw it back in my face if, like, we get into an argument. So I legit will be like, no, I don't need help or anything. I'll carry my groceries by myself. Like, I'll take that one trip, have 6 bags on each arm, and, you know, figure it out. I don't like to ask for help, and that really is a sign of trauma, where it's like, you should be able to lean on people. And then especially if you're dating someone and you're liking them or in your relationship with them, you should be able to lean on them and should expect them. I usually like to say, like, expectations lead to disappointments, but there are people in your life where you're just hoping that, like, you call on them and they got you. And even though I love my friends, they can tell you now, it'll take me forever for me to lean on them. It'll be like, they'll hear from me and then, like, maybe a week can go by and then they reach out and I'll be like, oh yeah, this happened, but I'm okay now. And it's just like, yo, why didn't you reach out? So I struggle with that, with the hyper independence. My mom always taught me to just do things on your own. My dad always told me, don't depend on no man for nothing. Like, don't ask no man for no money. If you need help, call me first before anything. So, like, those things really go back to what I was mentioning before about, like, how my childhood affects everything that I do. And the last thing that I can say I learned is that rejection always doesn't have to be a bad thing. So when it comes to a situation where, like, you're asking someone, all right, what are we doing, and they're not interested in a relationship with you, that's okay. You know, it is what it is. Like, you had a good time, like, enjoy that you had a good time with them. Hopefully it was a good time, but it's okay if they do reject you. It's hard to take rejection. Obviously, we're human, we have emotions, especially if you really invested your time or you like someone, but it is what it is, honestly. And there's, like, a meme that was floating around. I wish I could, like, find it and, like, post it, but it had said, like, something like, or a tweet or something where the person said, unfortunately, you know, people aren't gonna want you regardless of how, like, pure your intentions are, and that's okay. But, like, we say unfortunately, and honestly, it's fortunate. If we really think about it, it's honestly a good thing, because why would I want someone who doesn't want me? Why do I want someone who doesn't really like me? You know, I feel like some of us don't really date people who really like us and respect us and want us. You know, we're dating just for the fact that we want to say we're dating someone. And it's just like, yo, if you don't like me, you don't care for me, then you gotta go. Like, our time was great, but you gotta go. If this is not going anywhere, let's not waste any more time. But that's all I have for you guys. So thank you so much for tuning in. Of course, I appreciate you as always, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.